Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Stupid O'Clock News. I got a little news story here. It seems that some local politicians think their head is bigger. Wait, their head is. Yeah.
This town needs an enema.
What?
Dear.
What?
Oh dear. Is Chattanooga in trouble again?
We're going into an election in this area, and it's just really.
Welcome to Illinois.
One of the.
I nominate Joe Dog for the Common Sense Party. Oh! The launch pad's here.
Hey, Zach.
Send Zach an invite,
Hey,
please.
Zach. Yeah. I'll shoot him an invite over on.
You keep talking, I'll shoot him an invite.
All right.
Delegating authority, whether you want to. Or
Okay. Dan, it's so funny. We're up for county mayor, which is county commissioner or whatever the head of the local county is.
Usually some guy that owns a construction company whose last name is Italian.
Yeah, well, believe it or not, that's almost true. One of the candidates. His father is the county clerk. He's running for county mayor.
And how many graveyards is going to be voting for him?
Oh no, they're all running as Republicans, which is even crazier. Now here's the better one. His opposing candidate is the son of a former U.S. congressman. His sister is running for district attorney.
Why do I hear us playing the Family song in there? I mean, family affair. Excuse me.
I so wish Lewis was here because Lewis could explain it so much better. It's just
Lewis has a way of impartially describing the
stupidity.
I was going to say not quite common sense version of politics that we ordinary uninformed people have access to. And
then the third candidate for the county mayor is a county commissioner running for the mayor, and her ads say, "I'm not some rich kid trying to live off his daddy's name."
Okay, she got my money and I don't even live there.
Yet she's the most crookedest real estate agent we got in town. I'm sorry.
Okay, that is
right. Now we're going to get hit for political agendas and stuff.
Oh no, that's a positive testimony right there.
John, I didn't say Governor Prickster one time yet, till now.
Oh yeah, that's.
Oh yeah. Around here, you could run political ads saying your opponent supports President Lincoln, and people would vote for you. Yeah.
Well, we got a Democrat governor who we had another Democrat that ran against him for mayor up Chi-Town Way and beat him. So now he's supposedly changed into a Republican, supposedly. I use the air quotes, but to run against him again, saying, I beat him as mayor, I will beat him again as governor. But then you find out the same candidate, whose initials are Richard Irvin, has spent 15 years letting horrid criminals out of jail, defending them in
What,
court.
he's releasing congressmen?
Well, worse.
Oh God, how can it be worse?
Molesters and people who kidnap children, and anyway, without getting into all that, so now they're denouncing him as saying that, he's the wolf in sheep's clothing. Then we have two other ones coming out. I don't think there's going to be any other Democrats coming out to run for governor, because the incumbent, which is the governor, is running again. But I would think that
this is why I normally do not say anything at all about politics one way or another, because
it's just a 3-ring circus.
It's
literally
so volatile. That's the thing. You're going to stir up people, and not in a good way. And we're a chat show. We don't really need to dive into that crap. We just need to entertain folks for 2 hours and take their minds off of, this,
And, also there is the me farting on Eric Estrada.
Okay, that's taking our mind off of politics. Good job. I mean, I'm sure Eric...
No, that's still politics.
Okay, I'm not
It was more pertinent than most campaign speeches I've heard.
Yeah.
And probably more intelligent.
Still sounded the same.
Pretty much, and had the same effect on the world climate. I mean, that much methane is only released by, a field of cows or political candidate or Joe Dog after a night of Taco Bell.
Yeah. Dan, have you filled your fridge yet?
With what?
BEERUN, beer run. BEERUN, beer run. All you need is a 10 and a 5, car and a key and a sober driver. BEERUN, beer run. Yeah!
I am set. And those are too tall for the little fridge. I have to go to the kitchen for those. So, and yes, I am still drinking the canned canoe beer until I finish the canoe beer and can start on the Guinness.
Just get you a cooler to sit by your chair.
Chris, I will
I
neither
don't need
confirm
anything
nor
else
deny.
to trip over. I have cats.
What is it the cats have against toilet paper?
It's not their ass, I'll tell you that.
It's too soft.
I mean,
They use sand. It
looks like somebody's.
I think they're actually trying to do the same thing that they do in the litter box, but they're trying to figure out how you people use toilet paper. They just can't figure out how not to shred it to pieces, and how do they do that?
We have
They have
one.
thumbs. That's how they do it.
We have a litter box that has a tall plexiglass side over the actual tray of the cat litter, and he will claw at the plexiglass, trying to shred plastic to cover up. And I'm going, dude, not even you have claws that sharp. That shit's bulletproof. And he does it every time. Every time. And he doesn't release a single particle of plastic into the cat litter, but it makes a huge noise in the middle of the night when you're trying to sleep. Let me tell you.
Well, I got up this morning to what looked like somebody stuck an M80 in a roll of toilet paper.
That's because you do not put your toilet paper backwards to the right way so that it is cat proof as far as unrolling.
Well, We don't have a roller. The way our bathroom's built, you'd have to turn around behind you to. So it's within reach.
Okay. Do I have to offer my services as an interior designer, or is that too expensive?
If you can find a tin can,
And stuff the cat in it.
Yeah.
that too. But about size your roll of toilet paper. Cut the bottom or whatever out of it and stick it over your roll of toilet paper like a shield. And that way the cat goes in there and is like, who the hell did this? And shreds the tin can.
Yes, and when you really need to wipe, you've got to take the tin can off the roll of.
And put it on the, just put it on the counter
Now,
till you're done.
Obviously, you don't eat a lot of Mexican food from restaurants, John.
Where do you think I
I'm
get the
thinking
can
of a
from?
new renewable power source, and Carl Witzman needs to get a pen and a paper to write this down for his cat Calvin.
Oh, you just hook a generator to the toilet paper roll and let the cat
Well,
go to town.
You put 5 cats on individual treadmills that look like toilet paper
The other
rolls.
11.
And well, they switch in and out. They have shifts.
I'm glad I heard the if in that. Damn it, I was going to dedicate this show to my grandsons that were veterans, but no, not now.
I'll be right
Hashtag
back.
cat on a treadmill.
We've gone off. Well, they did serve their time in the sandbox, let me tell you. John can relate. Oh, Lord.
Oh, Carl, since you're out there, before I forget, a personal message, since we're not live yet.
We've been live for 10 minutes.
I did. Well, you might have been live. I'm not live. I'm Memorex.
Okay.
I did get my.
That's why you sound like a 6-year-old.
Phone. Yeah, I'm going to sing like her in a minute here. That's why, Carl, I got my phone contacts back. Between Laura helping me and doing some Googling, I did actually find in the Google settings where you could go down to contacts and down to trash and retrieve. It'll say delete forever or restore. They give you that option. So,
Restore,
yeah.
please God, restore. Yes, I've done that a time or two, and I don't even have a phone that would respond to Google. It was bookmarks for me. I thought they were gone forever, and it was like 20 years worth of bookmarks. So,
Well, until you send them away, they stay there for a certain amount of time. Now, I know on my Motorola phone, if I don't empty the trash as far as like photos and that I've deleted, it does it. I believe it's in 60 days or 90 days. I forget which.
I'm sorry, gentlemen. I have been editing short stories all night, and my inner editor mode is still screaming in my ears. So, yeah, I changed everything. So,
Meow, 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 meow.
Hillary, shut up.
Meow, 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 meow.
We're aggravating Calvin's cat. Carl's cat, Calvin.
Yes, we actually have a cat named Hillary. She was named after the guy that climbed Mount Everest, not the politician. So there. She was the first one to discover that a baby gate was scalable and could be breached.
And Carl says Calvin heard that.
Yeah, well, Yeah, at least Calvin is not climbing the walls trying to find my voice tonight. Hey, Steve.
The carbonite
Carbonite
maneuver.
maneuver. Oh yeah, that's a classic right there. It not only demonstrates the adaptability of the Enterprise command crew, but it also is a statement against casual racism.
Shame
And
on you, Steve,
and it's
for
got
watching
Clint
Star
Howard.
Trek when we're on.
Yeah, and Carl says, "Oh, good job. Calvin heard Joe Dog and ran off to pester Donna." Hey, Carl, that's a good thing. That means he's leaving you alone. And evidently, I didn't pay much attention. What I thought was a Chardonnay was a Sauvignon Blanc.
Oh wow, that's even better. Yeah, that's good for you.
It's a little too dry. I'd like a little sweeter.
No, that's got nothing to do with the health benefits. What you like doesn't necessarily mean what's good for you.
I'm not drinking it for the alcohol. I mean, I'm not drinking it for the taste.
You're not drinking it for the health benefits, is what you're trying to say.
That's what I'm trying to say. Damn, stuff's got a kick.
You need an editor, and I'm busy.
Speaking of kick, I went to our local DG today to get brown sugar, which they still don't have. But I found some Black Rifle espresso, iced coffee.
Wow.
One was mocha, and then the other one was espresso with cream. And
God, I don't need anything to dilute my coffee except maybe.
I saw the thing on there, Dan, for caffeine, and it had the number 200 after it.
Yeah, that means it's mild. Most espressos are, 200, 250, and my normal breakfast coffee is about 750 because I've got to get to work in the morning. Not tomorrow morning, but weekday morning.
I think I am going to order some in the Keurigs. I believe John said they have it available in that, and just give it a try.
Yep.
Like I said, drink it early in the morning, otherwise you ain't gonna sleep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely. I made the mistake of drinking a cup before the Stupid O'Clock Thursday show, and it was well after noon before I went to sleep the next day.
Now I will highly recommend the brand of coffee that Ted Davies is sponsoring from the roasting company he is quite fond of. It is Waking Dragon, and it is amazing. That stuff will wake me up after I've worked a 68-hour week, and I have to go to work again the next day. So, this is not your grandfather's Maxwell House. So let me tell you, it's good. It's good to the last drop, because the last drop is what you're going to get before you turn the last red light and get to the factory. And I understand that the roasting company that Ted recommends, they are going through a identity split, and they're going to be going under a new name.
They're fighting.
No, they're not fighting. They're just going, we're trying to do this, and the old brand is going to do that, and we're going to kind of not go our separate ways, but be co-conspirators in your coffee addiction. But damn, I sound like I'm no. We're not going there. This isn't the green room. I can't say that.
In reference, speaking of the green room, in reference to Carl's last comment about what he wants to do, Carl, give her some Black Rifle coffee and put some rum chata in it, and then give it to her next Friday night in the green room.
Ooh, I don't know.
And we'll just watch.
That may spontaneously combust.
No, that would make the green room much more blue than normal. Let me say kindly, trying to translate into the socially acceptable speech of this hour of the night. Oh, look. Oh, okay. It's Stephanie. Thank God. I thought it was Donna coming in to spank me.
Well, Donna is usually falling out of her chair in the green room. If Carl does that next Friday, she may be climbing up the back of the chair.
No, she'll be hovering above it. Oh. No. Black Rifle coffee, Waking Dragon coffee, those are the things that you would use to launch astronauts into space without a rocket. They just basically take off into orbit and say, oh, were we supposed to use the damn ship?
Well, I'm going to try because I've had the Civil War era black
with chicory?
buckhorn coffee, the buckhorn from the buckhorn weed. And I have never tasted anything stronger in my life. I thought I was going to have a triple bypass before I took the second drink.
Okay. Well,
and I'm sorry I interrupted you,
Second cup will probably be the quadruple bypass, let me tell you.
The decaf Black Rifle coffee is, I can't drink it because it has too... there's no such thing as truly 100% decaffeinated coffee or tea, but you kind of expect it to be below a couple percent. Mm-mm.
They just shave a little bit off the top.
I have like 4 medical conditions that preclude having caffeine. And one of those is potentially fatal. And that just didn't, it was really good, but it didn't fly. No.
Well, for me, the lack
Steph was flying, but
fatal. I actually need a cup of coffee right now. I need to kickstart my heart here. Now, whatever band that was that did that, I
Motley Crue.
Thank you. I couldn't remember.
I was thinking of "Harden My Heart" by Quarter Flash.
No, that's a totally different song, and they have much smoother voices.
Oh.
Black Velvet. Damn, now I'm distracted. Where am I going?
You said you was going to go get bio break?
You're going to get Stephanie some Jolt Cola.
The last thing I remember saying was, I really
now
wish
he's
I
really
had a cup of
confused.
coffee, but all I've got is this Guinness, so I'll just have to make do. Chris,
Well, no, I'm having Mexican Sprite tonight.
What did I beat you to, Chris? That just ain't right.
Ain't no telling. I really miss Lewis and Chris and
Skunk.
And Skunk and
Heather.
Thank you. That was the name I was trying to get my brain to come up with. Heather.
I was waiting for you to save yourself, but then you weren't saving yourself. You were going down for the third time.
It's on Memorex. Don't worry. It's saved on a tape drive. No, Heather, I really miss Heather, and I know why. She's
Real world.
she is a professional nurse now, and her time is taken up by taking care of people who are lucky to have her as a nurse. And
Now,
you know,
last time she was in, Dan, did she not say that she might start having either Saturday nights or Thursday nights off or something to that effect? Or am I imagining that?
It never happened.
I don't know. I don't know, but I I know enough nurses to realize that whatever schedule they hope they may get
Mhm.
is probably the lowest probability in all the multiverses available. Oh,
Yeah, she is doing good, but she's
She put a post on Facebook today.
oh,
Today is the first time in her life she has ever tried Baby Bell cheese.
oh, wow.
And she's like, "How did I not know about this?"
Because it's wrapped in 2 feet of
Wrapping
wax,
candle wax.
and you get one bite, and it's wrapped in like this manhole cover sized chunk of wax, and well, it keeps it from ever going bad. I mean, Baby Bell cheese, you could go to a grocery store that has been affected by a nuclear bomb and still be able to get that stuff, even though it had melted at the time the bomb went off. It would have solidified and still been protected from the radiation by the
Even Family
big
Dollar?
wax coat. You
Because
can
they got the
tell-
rats at Family Dollar.
No, not even the rats would go through that. I mean, even rat teeth cannot get through that amount of wax coating. I mean, they give up after a little while. It'd be like asking a squirrel to chew through a Chrysler, you know?
well, Crossville, Tennessee has the cheese house. All sort. I mean, they've been there for I know 60 years, and it's every kind of cheese you could think of, and they give you samples.
60 years. I mentioned the aged cheddar is pretty good. I'm sorry, people. I am just so hyped. I need, after a 68-hour week, I really need some sleep, but it ain't happening.
Good night, Dan.
No, it ain't happening.
And now it's
Believe me,
time to say goodnight.
Shut up, Bill. If I could go to sleep, I'd be asleep now. I've tried all day. I've got an empty bottle of Tylenol PMs to prove it. There ain't no way.
Well, I did my 6,000 steps today for 7 days in a row, and going one direction was pretty easy. It about carried me. It was so windy out there. We've had some really bad storms come through, and thankfully not through Oakwood or Danville that stayed west of us, but we've had several confirmed tornadoes. And
Andover, Kansas took a hit today.
No joke.
I mean,
Yep,
videos are
they
coming
did.
in.
I have missed everything that was on the news today.
No fatalities yet, though, right?
Oh,
Just
God,
some
thank
injuries.
Oh,
Carl, it's been 20 years since I've been there, so I can't remember.
no, he's talking about a kind of cheese.
Yeah, talking
Oh,
about the cheese
okay.
place.
Oh, okay. And that was a reference to Wallace and Gromit.
And Carl will remember
I
this.
may not
We
be
had
able
a
to make sense, but I can remember obscure cartoon references. Oh, Monty
Carl.
Python.
I don't think
posted-
Dan saw me.
Carl, I posted the link for the Simonton Cheese House in Crossville,
Gromit.
Tennessee to Stupid O'Clock.
Oh, Lord. Somebody please help me. Call
We
number
had
down.
a
Charlie,
place
slow
called
the handle. Ah,
we had a place north of Danville on the Dixie Highway, and Carl can help me out. I think it was called the Wisconsin Cheese House, and it had, I believe, it was a huge wheel of cheese out front. It wasn't real. It was just something that they carved or whatever. But that was the place to go around here without having to go all the way to Wisconsin to get certain selections of cheese, which of course everything was brought down from Wisconsin. So, and it was stuff that you normally couldn't get at the supermarket at the time. But Carl, was that what it was called? The Wisconsin Cheese House, north of Danville, north of Rossville, I believe. But anyway. Oh, Wisconsin Cheese Shop. All right, yeah. It was a great place
oh, I'm trying.
back in the day.
Really trying to slow down. Ah,
Oh, so what's going on, Stephanie?
Not a whole lot. I found myself a good mechanic shop to get my car regularly serviced today.
Okay.
And
Was it an independent shop or is it a commercial?
I don't know. It's called Tire Discounters. I don't know if that's a chain or not.
Yeah, they're a chain. They're fairly
I do go to those folks in this area for brakes and tires, and they do excellent work. And they're, as far as I know, the chain has a point of pride in doing excellent work.
Yeah.
So.
And well, see, the problem that I've had is that I've run into places where, because I'm a woman, they think they can or they don't think, they do take advantage of me. And like back when I had a pickup truck, they were supposed to be not only changing the oil but changing the filters and all this stuff on a regular basis. And then I had some transmission trouble with the truck, and they didn't do transmissions, so we took it to a different place. And the different place went through, and the fuel filter was the factory fuel filter.
Which
And
had
they
supposed to have been changed by the other folks.
Yeah.
multiple times.
Multiple times. And you got charged for it not being replaced. Oh,
yeah. Tire Discounters they're fairly good chain. Is it the one in Madison near you?
Yes.
Okay. It's not the manager, but it's the lead mechanic. Used to work up here,
Okay.
and he used to take care of my car.
One of the young mechanics there is actually the elder son of a close friend of mine here in Huntsville. And so she had talked to him about whether or not he's taking care of her car, and would he take care of Steph's car? And it was sure, no problem. So it was just
okay.
It's working out. I'm happy.
Well, so now you got somebody. It's a point of pride to be able to take care of your car.
Right. And it's not only that, they had the perfect opportunity to charge me some stuff today and didn't take advantage of it, to charge me some extra stuff. One of my shocks is going bad, and it's the mileage on the car is so low that it's maybe half of what the lifetime of that shock should be. And so, but there's some feathering on the tires. And so there's two possibilities for the cause, three really. One is the bad shock. Two is non-alignment. Three is all of the above. So they basically told me, look, that shock should have at least twice this amount of mileage before it starts going bad. You need to go back to the dealer. And I said, well, I'm not the first buyer on this car. I bought it used. I got a great deal on it, but he said, it doesn't matter. That's the low mileage. They should replace that for you for free. And he said, if they don't, come back to us because we can replace it for a substantially lower amount than they would.
Mm.
So, and he had
Sounds
the
like
perfect,
people-
yeah, and he had the perfect opportunity to say, well, let's double check and make sure everything's in alignment, and charge me for that. And he didn't. He said, no, the first thing you need to do, and I gave him the opportunity, kind of deliberately. And I asked him okay, so do I need to go ahead and check, have the alignment checked, or would it be better for me to go take care of the shock? He said, do the shock. Then let's see what happens. So he had the perfect opportunity to do additional work and charge me for it that wasn't necessarily needed, and he didn't do it.
Mm.
So I was pleased. I got in the car saying I finally found myself a really good, honest mechanic. Set of
Those are
mechanics,
rare.
really.
Those are rare. Treasure
Yes.
them.
Oh yes. I'm going to be definitely keeping up with these folks. So I'm happy.
Yep, I've got to go in to have all 4 brakes on the van replaced here very soon because it needed it before the plague hit. And now it's getting to the time to where I'm going to have to bite the bullet. This stuff needs to be done before I take another long trip, more than just my morning commute, which is peanuts,
Well,
basically.
you've got 174 days.
To
No.
HallowCon?
No,
74 days.
LibertyCon.
LibertyCon.
Yeah. I've got to get an oil change.
174 days? No, I don't think so.
I thought that's what Linda posted up.
Well, this is the last day of April, and it's in June.
Okay.
60.
64 days. Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah. Yes.
You have a good night, Carl. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate
Good night,
it.
Carl. And hug Donna for all of us, please.
Yeah, go in there and hug her right now and tell her we love her.
Carl's got to go to bed because he's got to get up early in the morning to do his super secret subversive grocery shopping that he does weekly.
No, the cat's telling him it's time to go to bed. That's what it is.
Carl says he'll see if she's awake. Or even if she's not awake, especially if she's asleep, wake her up and tell her we love her.
We'll pay the hospital bills.
Wake her up with Calvin.
Yeah, let Calvin wake her up.
Wrap Donna in some toilet paper and then set Calvin loose.
That's cruel. That's cruel, Bill. How can such a nice guy be so cruel? That's utterly sadistic.
I said nothing at all about catnip. No, not once.
I know nothing. I see nothing. I hear nothing. Oh, Lord. Plausible deniability. Yes, that has been a thing since the 70s, hasn't it? I'm sorry, folks.
So there's this fellow in Ukraine that has started making key fobs, key rings, out of parts from a Russian Su-37 fighter jet that got shot down. This is like Russia's top fighter jet. Okay. And he's selling them on the internet for $1,000 a piece.
Sounds like an episode of MASH.
And all his friends said, nobody's going to pay $1,000 for those things. He said,
Yeah, they will.
so he went to sleep. Next morning, woke up, checked his phone. He had over $30,000 in orders overnight,
God.
which means he sold 30 key fobs. But it's,
Oh,
Sucker born every minute.
Water bottle. Okay. Water bottle.
in the late 70s, there was a Hawkwind album called Lucky Leaf and the Starfighters, which featured a song which described using wrecked F-104 starfighter parts as can openers or keychain fobs or whatever, and that was, I'm sorry, but evidently Germany got short-shifted on functional starfighters and got the ones that would basically, if not maintained perfectly, crash. So
Germany had a lot of problems with theirs. It was a hard plane to fly.
Yeah.
It didn't have a lot. It didn't have a lot of wing, and you had to use power. And when you use power to take a plane off, it's got to be real precise. Because if you don't have lift, plane's not forgiving. They call them planes because they create lift.
It's a missile with a man in it.
It is. It really is.
Now, did you know they?
You know they cough a lot before they get in the plane.
Yeah.
yeah, it's from the Halidol.
Yeah. When they took off, they had 2 little rolls of split garden hose in the cockpit with them.
Hello, Ryan.
Hey,
Not
Ryan.
even gonna make a joke, Ryan. Come on in, dude.
And you know what it was for?
Hey, Chris.
There's Chris. But Dan, you want to know what it was for? It was for the ground crew. When they got out, when the pilot got out, the next guy would reach in, grab it, and put it along the leading edge of the wing.
Oh yeah.
Because the leading edge of the wing was so sharp that if you bumped your head into it, it would lay it clean to the skull.
Yes. And that is one of the reasons why it was able to fly so fast. It was, well, for want of a better term, sharp.
Yeah. But yeah.
I wasn't trying to make a joke. Okay, here's the joke. It cut its way through the air.
Literally.
Yeah,
Did it
really.
cut like a knife?
samurai sword.
Slice through the air. Yeah.
Was it a sharp dressed
Yeah.
jet?
I learned that from the demonstration team. The F-104 starfighters. When they were doing their air show tours, they were telling us about it. And I asked about it because my ROTC was Air Force at Hickson, and Colonel Sherwood was telling us about it. And I asked him, and he said, yeah, he walked over, climbed up in the plane, pulled it out.
Whose cat did I hear?
Mine. He can't make up his mind whether he wants attention or whether he's just trying to be needy.
Mine is actually kind of behind you guys right now. He's sleeping on my feet. So I've got.
No,
I've
he's
got
not. Spider-Man is behind me.
Well, I've got the laptop sitting on my knees, kind of, and so he's on my feet.
Yeah.
So he's on the other
Well,
side.
I won't do you like I did Carl's cat. I called Carl's cat, and the cat was like, "Nope, not doing this." It took off running.
That's because Carl's cat responds to my voice and climbs the walls looking for where I am. Which kind of... Oh, I'm not going there. I'm not going there.
Yeah,
don't
go there. Don't go there.
I'm
Don't
not
go there.
going there.
No. Nope. Nope.
But
nope.
the rabbit is beckoning you.
I nipped it in the bud.
Good man. Good man.
Oh. Well, being a graduate of the College of Rock and Roll Knowledge, Dan, since you were talking about music in the late 70s, something very interesting but true to form happened on this day in 1976. Keith Moon the Loon of The Who paid 9 different New York cab drivers $100 each to block off a full city block. The reason for this is so that Keith could throw out every piece of furniture from his hotel room out of the window and onto the street below.
Why?
Because he's Keith Moon.
That was the origin for the
At least he was
the Terry
polite
Pratchett
enough
joke in
to
soul
pay
music.
$900 so that he could throw the furniture out in peace without hitting a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
This was the origin of the Terry Pratchett joke in his novel Soul Music, where one of the musicians redecorates the hotel room.
Kind of looks like,
rather than throw the furniture out, but actually improves the hotel by having stayed there.
kind of looks like Keith Moon directing Traffic.
It looks like something from the Music Man to me.
Still
I
trying
thought it was one of the
trying to
Monty
figure out
Python crew.
what the color.
Oh,
has
they
a
taught the Monty
kitty.
Python crew thing. Now, what did he drive in the swimming pool, Dan or Chris? Was it a Mercedes or was it a Rolls Royce? I was thinking it was a Rolls Royce.
I think it was a Rolls, but it could have been a Mercedes. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not positive. I'm with Dan.
It could have been either. I know it wasn't a Chevy. Okay.
I hate to think it was a Rolls Royce, but
But we're talking about Moon the Loon, though, so you got to
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, I'm
That guy.
almost positive it was a Mercedes, because basically, given Keith's reputation, not too many people would rent him a Rolls. He would have had to have bought it, and he could have. But
Over and over and over.
yeah, he could have bought the factory.
According to the interwebs, it was a Rolls.
Oh,
Okay.
he's purring a little bit, Stephanie. I don't know if you can hear him or not, because I got a fan in the background blowing. But
I can hear it.
Yeah, I think him and Lennon bought their Rolls the same year. And of course, Lennon had his painted to look like a psychedelic Rolls Royce. And then, but Moon, yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm too
What?
worried.
Moon and Bottom could do
Quiet.
stuff.
I need to calm down. Old Charlie stole the handle, and there's no way to calm down. Okay, bonus points for who gets the music reference.
Actually, didn't hear all of it.
That's okay. You probably
During their appearance on the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour, Moon bribed a stagehand to load gunpowder into one of his bass drums. The stagehand used about 10 times the standard amount. During the finale of My Generation, he set off the charge, and the intensity of the explosion sends Townshend's hair, Pete Townshend, and embedded a piece of a symbol in Moon's arm.
Wow.
This is how Pete Townshend became deaf in one ear.
Yeah, that was headphones.
Actually, the story I heard was that the technicians loaded so many charges in the bass drum, Keith thought it was not enough. so he loaded more.
That sounds like reality.
And I believe that came from the Who rockumentary, The Kids Are All Right, from 1978.
That was an excellent film, actually.
Hello, Ron.
Loved it. I loved Steve Martin and Keith Moon wrestling around in a hotel room full of Mr. Bubbles. And yes, Keith Moon was the original cosplayer. I mean, there was nobody like him as far as everything he cosplayed, from G-rated to X-rated.
Well, Keith Moon and John Bonham were two of the most amazing drummers to ever sit behind a kit.
No argument there. And even though there have been some really, really awesome people too, other than that pair. But still, yeah, no argument that the two of them are really amazing, or have been in their entire career. Their catalog of work is without peer and without reproach.
About 5 or 6 days ago, I posted a Facebook video on Watch video of the Who's song Bargain, which I love. I posted it mainly because I was just feeling a lot of affection for my adopted family, and sometimes you just got to get it out. So I posted the video complete with all the lyrics, but the actual video would not have Keith Moon as the drummer because it was done much later. Ox, John Entwistle, was still alive, and you would see him playing in it. But Ringo Starr's son, Zach Starkey, who started playing for the Who, and as far as I know, still is, he played during that video, which I believe was in 2008. No. And he's a marvelous drummer. He really is, and he takes more of his skill, his type of drumming more after Keith Moon than he does his own father, which is good because Keith Moon is a far better drummer than Ringo, as much as I like Ringo.
Ringo's
all right,
better than a lot of people.
My seconds will meet your seconds at dawn.
Ringo is a far better drummer than a lot of people give him credit for. And drummers appreciate what he's able to do, and certain musicians more so than a lot of folks. Ringo just makes it look so easy, it doesn't look like he's there.
He does. He makes it look like he's not doing anything, but he's doing everything with the least amount of waste motion.
Yep. I mean, there's a reason why he's got an all-star band and people will love touring with him.
Oh, Lord.
Changing genres for a minute. Y'all heard about Naomi Judd, I assume.
Yes. It's sad. And she was supposed to be inducted in the Country Music Hall of Fame
tomorrow night. Yes.
She passed away, or?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you hear the family statement?
No.
It's because she passed away from the tragedy of mental illness.
Dementia?
I did hear that, yes. I didn't know that it was a family statement.
Well, I think she had...
She's been ill for a while.
Hepatitis for years.
Yeah. It's probably depression.
And probably dementia and depression, and
she was well into her 70s.
76.
Yeah, 76.
I read something today where
and look 20 years younger at least.
Yeah. They're saying it may be the same type of thing that Robin Williams did. So. They didn't specify anything, but
yeah.
But I got to see.
It's still not news anybody wanted to hear. It's still not anything that anybody in the family wanted to experience, or the fandom wanted to experience. And my heart goes out to the family. and the fans. And
Yeah, I feel sorry for her.
I
there's
can
a
remember.
lot of folks that will be negatively impacted by this.
I can remember watching them
nothing to
on
do
the
with it.
Grammys
Mhm.
when they won their first Grammy. And
Did
the
Ashley
interviewer
ever
came
sing?
up to him and asked him, what do you feel? How do you feel winning a Grammy?" And one of them goes, "Well, I guess we can't go Kroger anymore." And people that don't know what Krogering is are like, "What?"
Grocery shopping.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's only the world's largest grocery store, or well, U.S.'s largest grocery
And
store.
no, there was a little rift between Mama Wyona and Ashley.
Yeah.
Ashley went real left wing, and the Judds were real right wing.
Well, and I know they had some problems, but that was like years and years and years ago, and I didn't know if there was any reparations or anything.
I think they've got to where they got along better. They kind of just agreed to disagree. But
Somebody else that passed away that I have to bring up because he's the reason why I was reading Batman comics again when I was a kid was Neil Adams.
Yeah, I saw that.
Complications due to sepsis, and I've had sepsis. Been down that road, I'll just say that. But anyway, I was very sad. Oh my God. And in recent years, he was doing the live Facebook videos, doing live sketches and talking about different things. But this man, I would not pick as much of a Batman fan. I was always all through my life, childhood, adult. I would not pick up a Batman comic from probably 1968 on until he took over. Because I just thought it was too silly. I'm a kid thinking the comic is too silly and campy like the TV series, even though I love the TV series, obviously. But still, I mean, he reinvented Batman, took him down a different road. He turned the Joker from a silly villain that you couldn't hardly take serious to a homicidal maniac. Invented new characters like Ra's al Ghul and his daughter Talia, and I'm just on and on and on, and I won't go on about it. But it just kind of was a punch in the gut.
I've
when
had
I
a
saw
lot of
that.
my friends mention him in their news feeds here the past few days. So he had a bigger impact than some folks may realize.
Yeah, Bill Sienkiewicz. That's where I first saw it, and it wasn't even the first thing that he posted about him dying. It was just another comment, and I'm like, oh God, no! I hope not. And then I jumped on his Facebook page and read the previous, and it's like crap. But,
Yeah. Unfortunately, we are getting to the age where a lot of the people we admire and respect of generations older than us are now, sadly, reaching the end of their contract and are not going to be renewed. Basically,
So to speak.
Yeah.
yes.
Ow.
What did you
Found
do?
this one. This came out 35 minutes ago. 15 people were injured when a pedal pub overturned in Atlanta.
Wow.
Apparently, it looks like a little trolley, and you sit at the bar on either side of it, and it has pedals.
And you bicycle your way around it.
And somebody's apparently driving. I hope he's not drinking. But anyway, somebody's driving this thing, and
Good night,
they're all
Sarah.
pedaling.
Good night,
and drinking
Sarah.
as they go.
Good night, sir.
It overturned in downtown Atlanta somewhere. 3 people were in serious condition, and the remaining 10 had minor injuries.
I can believe it. I've seen some of those things going around.
They got one in Chattanooga. Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I mean, all you got to do is take a turn too hot, and yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's no real.
Right, Steve.
It's all open.
Not Steve.
Well, it may halt them for a while till they get it figured out.
When I'm
drinking beer, the last thing I want to do is pedal a big damn bicycle. Okay, can you imagine me buying a Peloton and they're talking about today we're going to do this and then I'm on the Peloton going, yeah, let's do it.
No, I can't imagine you doing that, John.
And the problem is the way you're sitting on those things is you're not sitting in the direction of travel. You're sitting
sideways to the
sitting
direction.
sideways. You're sitting facing the center of the vehicle.
The transmission
it's
must
like
be something else.
The
Yeah.
pedals on it are like a stair machine.
Oh, and if you got uneven weight distribution among the patrons on the thing, that can cause a problem as well.
Oh, okay. Somebody my size would cause it to flip over.
No
Oh,
offense,
honey, you don't even want to think about me.
And here's one for you. If I go out drinking, where's the bathroom? I mean,
The
they
hail
pull over and, I mean.
Well, what they do is like a pub crawl. They just,
Mm-hmm.
and the way they get away with the DUI law is somebody's driving, all you're doing is powering.
Yeah.
Hey,
And I think probably
I'm
what
just
happened,
one cylinder on this V8, officer. I'm sorry.
and probably what happened is the whole group said, let's see how fast we can make it go.
And took a corner and decided, hey, 285 is not the way to go around Atlanta on a bicycle.
Yeah, I can see that. Somebody
Wait a
taking one
minute,
of them
there's
tough things on
an exit
285.
over there. Let's go.
I'll be back. That's mine. He's finally decided he wants out of the room.
Okay.
His cat wants out of the
his
room.
cat.
Yes.
I could hear the meowing.
Yeah, me too. That reminded me of a very dirty joke that I came up with this morning when I woke up, and there was a cat on the bed with me, which is rare. And I will let y'all improvise from there because I'm not going to go and explain the faulty logic that led to the supposedly funny joke.
Yeah.
Now, the way Dan phrased that, I'm thinking of a medium rare cat.
No, it's a very nice cat.
You said it was rare.
She's very affectionate, and she stayed in bed, snuggling my feet after Lindsay got up and got busy for the day. And I have several very affectionate cats. Some are inside the house sometimes, and most are outside the house most of the time. I'm worried about one right now that it's springtime and she does not want to come in on the porch or into the house. And there are coyotes out there, so I worry.
Yeah, that's understandable. Excuse me.
That is a very top-heavy vehicle. Somebody tries to turn a corner on that thing, it's going to go up on 2 wheels.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you got 10 or 15 enthusiastic drunks pedaling too fast.
Yeah.
Well, all you got to do is just install a roll cage in there.
That's what they need. They need to make it cylindrical so that you can actually roll it occasionally just for fun.
How about instead of it being a trolley, being a big hamster ball, and let them power their own on that? This cat, he comes inside just to visit Laura's dad's, but he never wants to leave.
That's oh, I knew the name. I can't remember it right now.
Morris.
Oh, the cat.
No, the cat Bill was talking about. Champ?
Ranger.
Ranger. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, he was named the Lone Ranger because his one and only brother got killed, and so that's what the neighbor who actually owns him, but he doesn't really go over there anymore.
You've talked about that cat often enough. I should remember its name. I'm very
Yeah,
sorry.
oh Ranger.
I'm
I call him
quite
Ranger Danger.
I tell you guys, you know what I'm missing here lately? Everybody locked at home having nothing to do and tuning into us.
God help him.
Because that's how all this crap got started.
Well,
Well, I, for one, am glad things are slowly starting to get back to normal.
which leaves the open question of what exactly is normal now. Now,
It's a new normal.
Yeah, well, I miss the old normal, but
we tried
I
that
don't know if we'll
separate
ever.
crap in the 60s. That didn't work. It's a bit-
2020, they mixed it up with that brain that says Abby normal.
Mm,
And everybody's saying that all the restrictions imposed, they're just putting hell, well, damn world's opened up and got to the point we don't give a damn no more.
really. If you're stupid enough not to protect yourself from the plague, die already. And
Can't say that. That's hate speech, Dan. I got 24 hours on Facebook for that saying that.
well, I'm not on Facebook saying it.
Yeah, you are.
Yep.
Matter of fact, you're on 5 of them right now.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
Mm. Well, sarcasm is one of those languages that not everybody speaks. I'm sitting here.
I
can't
speak
go visit
sarcasm.
my mother because I had an outbreak of shingles, and she's never had chicken pox. And I could kill my mother by going and visiting her and giving her a hug. So, okay, insensitivity.
My favorite All in the Family episode was the one where Mike and Gloria left baby Joey with
Archie
and Edith, and they went to do something. And Edith was getting a bunch of clothes ready to take down to church for a charity drive. And turned out they got this big argument. Mike and Gloria didn't want to get Joey baptized. And Archie was just, he won't be able to get in heaven. You don't get him baptized. And of course, Mike, says, I'm not gonna force him to do that. So they leave it with Archie and Edith, and Archie goes, he's gonna sneak out with the kid and take him, get him baptized while everybody's gone. Edith steals his coat so that he can't go out in the cold without his coat. But she left the box of donatable clothes sitting in the living room. So he puts on these old college clothes. So he's like wearing a college Letterman sweater and a mohair jacket and goes down, and the priest at the church won't baptize the child without the parents there. So Archie sneaks back to the baptismal and does it himself. And the kind of ends with this picture. They show the actual baby actor that was Joey, who was just this beautiful baby kid. They show him in there sleeping in the bundle Archie's holding, and just, it's a canned audience, and the canned audience is like, oh.
Now, there is an episode of All in the Family with baby Joey they can't air anymore.
because they showed his privates.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I wondered about
And then they even, it was so controversial, they even made a Baby Joey doll.
That was anatomically correct.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, and that was very big selling too.
My sister got one
Hmm.
because her dad was a big All in the Family fan.
And
not going there.
It's
My favorite-
supposedly the sales of that doll supposedly surpassed the sales of Mrs. Beasley from Family Affair.
yes, it did.
And we all know how much that doll sold.
And Raggedy Ann's and Andy's.
Mm.
I still got pieces of them things laying around the house.
That's weird. That's just weird.
Yeah, the Baby Joey doll. They could never sell that doll today.
Why not? They had a pregnant Barbie.
Yeah, but
It's
it would.
getting to the point where they're probably going to be able to sell just about anything at some point.
Oh. Yep.
I need to make that my cover photo.
What
That's
did I
actually
miss?
pretty
I glance away from the screen for 1 second.
Yeah. No, my sketch I'm working on because I watched an episode of Return to the Planet of the Apes cartoon today. I posted it in the Every Day is Saturday group, but
Yeah, I almost
thought-
forgot about that one.
yeah, it's kind of one of the cartoons. Trying to think the science fiction one that's very similar.
cover
Where
your eyes.
there's not a lot of movement.
We're not going to
And
run
you
that
see
one.
the lips move.
We had to go real quick with that, but yeah.
Why? It's after 12.
Yeah.
It's not
Uh,
here. It's not
hey.
after 12 here.
now, do you guys know the name of the three monkeys?
You mean
the
other
one-
than hear no evil, speak no evil, see
Yeah,
no evil,
they
speak no
actually
evil?
have names. They actually have names.
Mhm.
No, I'm not aware of their names.
Mizaru, Kikazaru, and Awazaru.
Mhm.
Mikazu sees no evil. Kikazaru hears no evil. And Iwazaru speaks no evil.
Japanese names.
I guess.
I think they're Chinese.
I think it's sideshow.
Turkish.
Um,
Oh, Turkish.
Sideshow collectibles.
No,
is
it
selling.
is. It is a Three Wise Monkeys are a Japanese pictorial maxim.
So it was Japanese?
Yes.
Yeah, the name sounded Japanese.
Yeah, Sideshow Collectibles is selling something I really would love to have. It's I think it's either a 16 or 18-inch statue of the lawgiver from, I think it was the second of the Planet of the Apes movie. Was that the one with the bomb that they worshipped?
Yes.
The big missile? I think that was the second
Oh,
one.
no. Wait. No. That was Conquest of the Planet of the Apes.
Or Conquest, yeah. Yeah. And they had the lawgiver, and then you see the lawgiver starting to bleed. And they actually, Sideshow Collectibles, there is a variant version of a bleeding lawgiver statue.
No, wait. I'm sorry. We were correct the first time. It was the second one. Which
Was the second one? Okay, that's what I
Return to the Planet
thought,
of the
because,
Apes, but-
yeah, they were all wearing the hoods. And
That was the one that Cornelius and the other one escaped from.
No, that was Escape from the Planet of the Apes.
Mhm.
That would have been the third one. And there's another one that went back and showed the humans that were attacking the apes.
While we're on the subject, what did you think of the movie with Mark Wahlberg in it?
They completely named it wrong. It should have been Origin of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't think it was terrible,
But I do love the
it
I
could
do
have
love
been
the
better.
fact that he splashes down. His craft lands in Washington D.C.
Yeah,
right in front of the Lincoln Memorial, and as he gets out, he looks up. Lincoln's an ape,
yeah,
and then the ape police come over and arrest him.
yeah. I thought it was ironic.
Of course, Charlton Heston had the best scene in that movie.
Oh yeah,
Damn you all to hell!
Yeah, but the thing was, he was done as an ape, laying on his deathbed. That was his last role too.
yeah. Dan, my favorite. Now that you're back, my favorite episode of All in the Family had Roscoe Lee Brown in them.
Oh, well, that must have been fantastic. I can't remember it. I'm sure that I watched it in first run because my dad really enjoyed the show, so we had to watch it every week. And, well, I say had to. It wasn't a big sacrifice on my part because I found the humor really, really out there. Almost. Norman Lear wrote stuff that was, let's just say, George Carlin would have been overjoyed to deliver some of those lines.
You know, that's somebody that should have been on All in the Family.
George?
He's from, he's from New Jersey. I mean,
but Roscoe Lee Brown and
well, Sammy Davis Jr. made it once, didn't he?
Yeah,
Twice.
Mr. O'Connor both had enormous stage presences.
Yeah. Actually, the second time was on Archie Bunker's place.
Oh, okay. That explains why I couldn't remember the second time.
Yeah, the first one is actually television history. It's the second interracial kiss on TV.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then
and it was a same-sex interracial kiss.
Yes.
yeah. The second one that Sammy was on Archie Bunker's place at the end because Archie saved his life. Sammy was choking in the bar. Archie performed the Heimlich maneuver on him and thought he broke his ribs. So he's in the hospital going to see Sammy and going to apologize for it, to find out that he did not break Sammy's ribs, but he actually saved his life. And Archie's getting into it with this black nurse, and they're going back and forth or whatever. But at the very end, Stephanie, the niece, says, "Mr. Davis, is it true that you kissed Uncle Archie the last time you met him?" And he said, "Yes, Stephanie, it is true." And, of course, Sammy Davis Jr. had this personal connection with Stephanie because they're both Jews. So he saw the necklace and with the Star of David necklace.
Yeah, well, it's TV. You had to make it obvious.
Right. So anyway, he says, "Stephanie, would you want me to kiss Uncle Archie again?" She says, "Yeah." And Archie says, "Oh, no. He goes, "What?" He says, "You're not going to kiss me." He goes, "Wait a minute. After all we've been through, Archie, you're not going to let me kiss you?" He says, "Absolutely not." He says, "This time I'm kissing you." And both at the same time, Archie kisses Sammy on one cheek while Stephanie kisses Sammy on the other cheek. And that's how they ended that episode. And then last night was an episode of Archie Bunker's place where he hit Reggie Jackson's car. And he was trying to say nice things about Reggie Jackson, all the things he could do because he was a colored person. And the media went and latched onto it and put it in the papers, and then Reggie's suing him over it, and then the lawyer I can't think of the actor's name that portrays him, but it's one of Archie's Jewish lawyers that he's always making references about when he needs help. He says he always uses them, and I can't say how he
Steinberg?
describes them. Huh?
Steinberg or something. I can't say. That's
Oh, I know the name if I heard it, but it's something like that. But anyway, I can't say how Archie describes them on the air. But but anyway,
the world has come a long way since then, thank God. But back in the day,
and a lot of times people are panty waist by today's standards too. So it's kind of come around because everybody's offended by everything now.
Well, they also use humor to show how stupid some of the shit was.
Well, and that was Norman Lear's whole attempt as far as racial divisions. That's why Archie was the white bigot. George Jefferson was the black bigot. Then of course you go into Maude and all the rest of the Norman Lear stuff.
Yeah.
That they did, and you laughed about it because that's how he brought awareness.
one of my favorite characters through the whole series was Lionel Jefferson.
Yeah,
because he would always go over to Archie's place and mess with Archie. Just like, so Archie would say some black stereotype and Lionel would go along with it. And it was just like setting Archie up.
Yeah, which was for the characters rather easy to do. Yeah, I'm kind of glad.
Well, and Good Times went down the same road too.
Well, yeah.
They based that out of Chicago and what was going on in Capri Greens.
That did a lot of good because there were several million people across the U.S. that had no experience with living in large cities, much less being a minority in a large city. So,
Good Times was a third-generation spinoff.
Yeah.
It spun off from Maude.
It spun off of Maude, which spun off of All in the Family.
Mm-hmm.
And
but they called Wheezy's husband Henry Evans to begin with, and then when they started Good Times, they changed his name to James.
Yeah.
Well, also
that
he was
confused people for a little while. Yeah, but
well, you couldn't call Jimmy Walker JJ if his dad's name was Henry. You think about it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Well, the funny thing was Esther Roll was significantly older than he was, but their chemistry was so good they put some gray in his hair to make them appear closer in age.
She was fantastic. Let me tell you, she was absolutely fantastic.
She was perfect for that role.
Well, not only that role, but any role she played, she's just
well, she's just a ray of sunshine.
Yeah.
And the back and forth between Jimmy Walker and Bernadette Standish, who played his sister, that was just so typical of brother-sister embattlements. And then, Michael being the little black militant, and that he's, it's the youngest one, yet he acts older than the other two who are teenagers.
Well, I think about what's happening in a relationship between Roger and his little sister. How she extorted him constantly for stuff.
Well, I won't tell Mama for $20. $20. Says you better hurry up and pay me. It's going to go up to 40.
And Fred Berry shows that a big man can be
large amount of money in the 70s. Let me tell you.
And Fred Berry showed that a big man can
Too much
dance.
Mm.
Hey.
Because Rerun could get down with the best of them.
He could. That kid could move for as big as he was.
Yep.
Well, yeah.
And Shirley.
A lot of people who are that size, is that a bad thing to say? Have developed almost ballet dancer reflexes, and they can move as eloquently and as delicately as anybody smaller.
You ever?
And then there's me.
Well, I tried to like What's Happening Now when it came out, because I was such a big fan of What's Happening, and I'm like, oh great, and it was the 80s, and yes, Mama was done gone, sadly, and I think that's one of the big reasons why I couldn't get into it.
The 80s, they didn't have the quality of scripts available to them that they had in the
Yeah. Well, we got to see what's her name in her first row before In the Heat of the Night, that played Roger's wife. I'm trying to think of her name. She plays
Anne-Marie Martin.
Yeah, thank you. I could think of Anne Marie, but I couldn't think of the last name.
Once you mentioned the name of the show In the Heat of the Night, that's all I could think of.
Mm-hmm.
That was a very good show.
And she is such an amazing actress because she could do comedy too. If you ever saw I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker, she was hilarious at that.
That was one of those exploitation films that it crossed all kinds of borders so that it was accessible to all kinds of people. It really was. Although you wouldn't think of it from,
well, because they were making fun of all the black
Yeah.
exploitation films. That's the whole reason for that movie.
And Hollywood Shuffle was another great
example. Purity of the things that had come before that were not as complimentary, shall we say.
I mean, Hollywood Shuffle was great at poking fun at the black stereotypes and ridiculous stuff that they were asked to do.
Now I'm thinking of Kung Fu Hustle. I'm sorry. It's totally different genre. Totally different.
I
think of Undercover Brother.
Actually saw Blackula in the theaters when it first came out, and being a big Dracula fan and Universal Monster Movies fan, I thought, oh, this is going to be great, a Black Dracula. And I came out with my eyes real wide, like, what the hell did I just watch? Because the writing was so horrible. And the actors were bad too. I will have to say that.
Not all of them, but the writing was not.
Okay, 99.9% of the actors were bad.
Well,
it's hard
they
to turn.
They have so much to work with,
It's hard to turn a bad script into something good.
Yeah.
But when it works, we get Star Wars.
Well, like they say, you can't turn a pig's ear into a Universal monster movie.
Dan, did you ever watch?
I bet Stephen King could.
Maybe.
The pig's ear.
Dan, did you ever watch Undercover Brother?
Yes, I did, but only once, and I believe it was on television. I never saw it in the theater, so it probably had a lot of the good stuff cut out,
heavily edited.
You need to watch it one time without it.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I need to watch without having been edited before. Oh,
And it was ridiculous. They associated whiteness with love of mayonnaise.
As much as I am a fan of the unedited R-rated version of Smokey and the Bandit from 1977, when they did the TV version of it and dubbed over all of Jackie Gleason's cuss words and replaced them with the other ones, I just gained a whole new love for it. I remember in school going around saying the edited G-rated words and getting more laughs out of that than we ever did the cuss words.
Scott, if you ever seen Blazing Saddles on network television,
yeah, it's like
for about 5 seconds.
It's about 4 minutes long. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the ones where they actually go in and edit all the profanity.
Yeah,
and instead of
about 4 minutes long.
And instead of hearing the fart gags, you keep hearing cows mooing the whole time.
And the fire cooking up for some reason.
And you wonder who's out in the pasture with the cows.
More beans, Mr. Taggart. Like y'all had enough.
It's Headley.
It's funny is Slim Pickens, the actor.
Yes.
Worked on ranches until World War II.
Mm-hmm.
And then got drafted, and he goes in, or I can't remember if he got drafted or volunteered, but he goes in, they're signing up, and says, okay, so what did you do before you joined the military? He said, rodeo. Well, apparently they somehow or another he got drafted in Los Angeles, and the guy in Los Angeles didn't understand his accent, so wrote down radio.
Oh boy!
I can see that. I can see that coming to mind.
He wound up training on radios with the U.S. Army Air Corps, later the Air Force. So strangely enough,
Or Strangelove enough,
in the movie Dr. Strangelove,
see?
where he's the bomber pilot, he actually knew all the lingo.
Yeah.
So checklist and switching radio to this, and using all the proper the radio designations about which box does what. He knew all that stuff. So.
Yeah. I had watched the original black and white movie, black and white version of the Thing from Outer Space, enough to where when I was a passenger on a small airplane and it came time to land, I knew all of the position of the flaps and everything else. That it's all there in the movie if you remember the dialogue. And it's like it got spooky there for a minute because I knew what my brother-in-law was going to do in the airplane before it was time for him to do it, and I just watched him go on, and I'm going, yeah, half flaps, yeah, full rich, full flaps, yeah, and lower the revs and touchdown. It's like I saw this in a movie. This should not be reality. It's a movie, but no, it was reality.
What was that, Steph?
Well, I was just thinking that, and then you're on a plane that's coming in for a landing in the wake of a tornado, and none of it is according to the usual sequence, and you're going,
Yeah, yep. I've been there. They had to replace the seat I was in because the my fingerprints were still in the underside of the chair arms.
That seat will have to be washed before it can be used for a flotation device.
No, the seat didn't have to be washed. The sheet metal had to be replaced because I bent it.
Well, I'm sorry, but mine would have had a little hump right in the middle.
Batteries
yeah.
not included.
I had this one big guy sitting down next to me, and it's one of those flights where you're like, I do not want to sit next to this big guy for the entire flight. So I'm over there crammed up in the window seat, and stewardess goes by. And it just occurred to me, just out of the blue. I said, "Excuse me, ma'am, can I get 3 or 4 more air sickness bags? I don't fly well." And he asked to get another seat. I was
The one thing
tips
that I
you can
remember
use for air
all
travel.
the airlines that I have been on, I really enjoyed the window seat, but I also enjoyed being able to sit there and not only see the way the plane was flying, but feel all the tilts and banking and everything else that was going on. I could actually feel it like I was experiencing everything as if it were a 3D game or whatever. But in real life, the whatever it is in my head, I believe it's my inner ear that detects motion, was able to cope with all of the movements of the plane and really experience that in a way that was not unpleasant whatsoever. It was not inducing air sickness. It was kind of, oh wow, this is the same as one of those roller coasters that I really like to ride. So yeah, tilt, bank, down, turbulence. I really loved that. I really did.
Well, flying into O'Hare, I felt like I was circling a drain and going down it.
Well, it wasn't air,
There were a bunch of us getting ready to get on a plane in Atlanta to go back to Iraq from leave.
You have my sympathy, Atlanta. Yes.
And as we get up to the plane, to where your boarding area and everything for bags, the stewardesses look up when they see us turn into that boarding area, and one of them literally said, "Oh, thank God." Says, "Ma'am," she goes, "Would you guys mind if we move your seats around?" Well, no, not really. Why? She says, "Most of the people on this airplane are from Europe. Most of them don't speak English. And we need to put people in front of the emergency exits that can work the emergency exits." And of course, being macho soldier, where we said, "Oh, sure, we can do that." And,
really?
And then as I'm sitting there waiting to board the plane, because they want to board us first to put us next to those, doors with the door window seats. Whatever. I'm sitting there thinking about it and going, wait a minute. Why are they in such a big fire tarnation to have people that know how to work the emergency doors sitting next to the emergency doors? I've never been on a flight where they actually worried about who was sitting in the emergency door area before.
Oh, interesting, because I've never been on a flight where they didn't.
But it's like, I went over the window and I started watching to see what kind of maintenance they're pulling on the engines before the plane.
Oh, duct tape.
I've been on one of those planes.
Whack.
We were coming back from Iraq one year. Or no, sorry, we're coming back from Iraq. And one of the planes they're bringing us back on is an old Pan Am 747.
Oh, a classic.
And it was right after Pan Am dissolved. So they've painted over all the Pan Am livery on the plane, but you can still see where it said Pan Am and the blue and black stripe and and all sorts of stuff like that on it. They just painted over it. So basically, we're in a big white 747, and the only thing on it's a tail number. And I got on board, and I went to, and you do the overhead bin. Well, my overhead bin doesn't work. They've baling wired the overhead bin into position so that it won't fall off the ceiling.
Wow.
This plane had maintenance issues.
I'd be
It
getting
sounds
back
like
off.
it.
And
I'd
then,
be getting back off that good.
I do.
on the way back, and here was another bad one. On the way back, it stopped in what's that big? Not Heathrow, but the other big airport.
Glasgow.
Gatwick.
No, Liverpool. Does Liverpool have an
Gatwick.
international airport or something?
No. There's
Heathrow and Gatwick.
Anyway.
Isn't the Glasgow one?
Glasgow's
in
in Scotland.
But it wasn't Heathrow.
It's probably Gatwick.
But we landed there, and they did whatever to the plane, brought on more passengers today. And plane takes off. We get out of the Atlantic Ocean. And all of a sudden, seatbelt signs come on, everything. And the plane turns hard. 180 degrees. Pilot comes on and says, we're having some minor difficulties with our navigation equipment. We're going to fly back to the airport and get the equipment fixed. Shouldn't take more than an hour. I'm just like, well, this is kind of weird. And plane goes down, which is, again, weird because we're still out over the ocean. And the reason for it was they didn't tell anybody how bad the navigation problem was. So they had to get down below the cloud layer to visually see England.
VFR, a jumbo jet.
The FR 747. Now, and then they had to fly down. They didn't know how to get to London from where they were. They weren't sure where on the English coast they were. So they had to fly down the coast all the way around the southern tip of England and back up to find London.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
Then we landed at Heathrow. Why? Because they couldn't find the other damn airport we were looking for.
How?
And they had to follow all the other air traffic into Heathrow.
Oh,
That's how they found landing patterns.
and people wonder
Hopefully
why
they got you a new
aliens don't
plane.
visit Earth.
On the bright side, they did land us right next to the Air France and British Airways terminals with the Concords. So the whole time we were sitting there waiting for them to fix the avionics or whatever, I got to look at all the Concords moving around. So that was kind of cool.
And you were thinking, damn, I could be home in 6 hours.
When I left the Army in Germany, when I was ETSing coming back to the United States, I actually thought about taking a Concorde back
Should have done.
because it's a time machine.
Yes.
You get there 3 hours before you left.
Yep.
If you leave at 6 a.m, you get there at 3 a.m. Unless you're
What was
going
his
the other
top
direction.
speed? Like Mach 1.75?
It's a 6-hour flight in a regular jet. It's only
Across
3 in a Concorde. So,
across the Atlantic. It's a 12-hour flight in a regular jet.
no,
Okay.
Frankfurt
Delta's got some explaining to do, Lucy.
Frankfurt to Atlanta is about a 6-hour flight.
A Concorde could maintain a super cruise up to Mach 2.04.
And 747 does about 600, give or take.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking Mach 1.75 was cruising speed.
Both times I've flown from Atlanta to London, it has taken 11 hours or thereabouts.
Because
You're saving fuel.
I would have loved to have taken the British Airways. You know,
Well, one of them was Royal Dutch Airlines, which I highly recommend.
I love Royal Dutch Airlines. If you ever have to take an airplane, I highly suggest Royal Dutch Airlines.
Yes.
KLM.
That's a
Yeah.
cool airline.
KLM knows how to treat people, and they are only too happy to make your journey as painless and as fun as possible.
Well, I'm sorry, I won't do any KLM Pacific flights. Atlantic's fine, but when they get too close to Russia, KLM makes me nervous.
Why
That's
the
the one that had
would anybody want to fly
Larry
close?
McDonald shot down, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, 007. Yeah.
Yeah. Had Larry McDonald on it.
That's the section of I-75 that runs through Cobb County is named after
Yep.
him. He was a congressman from that area.
What?
Well, I was going to tell a couple of airplane experiences, but I think John kind of that pretty much topped anything I could come up with.
Well,
Kind of trumped you, huh?
yeah.
Well,
Well,
I could tell you about All Train Airlines.
well, I can tell you about James Gregory's little puddle jumper flights in Jamaica. What he said. He went for the little puddle jumper flights from island to island,
Mm-hmm.
and the guy
I've
walked
heard
up
this
and asked him. He goes, "How much
How
do
much
you
do you weigh?
how much do you weigh? Why do you need to know how much I weigh? So I know how much fuel put in. He's fill the damn thing up."
Yeah, take my credit card. Fill it up.
Let it dribble out the side.
Well, I will tell you one of the most entertaining flights I ever had was when I flew Frontier Airlines. Because they had flight crew, pilots, all of them had real big sense of humor, great senses of humor, and like I said, I was thoroughly entertained the whole flight.
I got a kick out of Daryl and I used to go down to Orlando and hit the various and sundry theme parks
Mm-hmm.
when we wanted a nice getaway kind of a vacation. And one time we flew down there. Most of the time we drove, but occasionally, if he could get a good airfare, we would fly. And we took Southwest Airlines one time. And if I don't know if any of y'all have ever flown into the Orlando airport.
No, I haven't.
It's an international airport. It's huge. And so we land and we get off the runway, which we were at the far end of the runway relative to the actual buildings. And so we have to come off and come back to the buildings to get to our gate. And so we taxi and we taxi and we taxi and we taxi and we taxi. And the chief flight attendant comes on and she says, "Thank you for flying Southwest Airlines, where we fly you halfway and drive you the rest." And the whole cabin just broke up.
Yeah.
That was the longest taxi I think I've ever experienced. We just kept going and going.
I've heard about this before. Fortunately, I was not on this airplane. Just like your story, families are on the plane. They're going to Disney World and everything like this. They land there, and they have to do that really long taxiway. And the flight attendants come on, and it's all of them. All the flight attendants come on. What's this? One of the problems with Orlando Airport is this long taxiway. So since we've got so long to taxi before we actually get to the terminal, we thought we'd sing you a song.
Oh no.
It's a world of hope. It's a world of cheer.
You're going to hear it forever. Yeah.
And apparently, if it's a really good Disney crowd, they sing along. You know.
Last time I was on an airplane, I got one of these.
Delta.
My wife laughed at me because the stewardess was coming around going, "Oh, anybody want one of these sets of Delta wings?" And I go, "Yeah, I would." And Lindsay looks at me and goes, after I'd already got those,
Hmm.
and the stewardesses had gone by. Lindsay looks at me and goes, "You realize those are for kids?" I go, "Well, I'm a
And
kid.
I was a kid once.
Yep.
I may be 60 something years old, but I'm still a kid.
We,
Damn it, I want my wings."
You just got 60 something years of experience.
Yeah, really.
Yep.
One of our
Dan, you should have turned and said, "Well, you don't want one? I'll call her back."
one of our military flights going over to Iraq, an old civilian airliner, and still had the ashtrays in the seat arms,
Wow.
and everybody was like, nobody'd seen them in years, and it was just I can't, and of course it's no smoking signs every damn where in the plane,
Hmm.
and everybody was joking about it and everything. And I'm sitting there, I'm looking at this thing, and I'm getting off the plane, and I'm in the aisle seat on this particular one, and it's got the little thing in there, and I've been playing with it the whole time. Just got to lift the arm up to get out of the seat. When I lift the arm up, I reached in there, disconnected it, pulled it out, stuffed it in my helmet bag, took it off the plane with me. We got to Iraq, we got to our Humvee and everything like that.
Hmm.
I mounted it in the Humvee. I got more comments about that because people were actually using it, from time to time. And,
Yeah, in Iraq, but not on the airplane.
But someone stole it. Someone stole my damn ashtray after I stole it from the airline. I'll tell you.
Fast.
You just can't trust them.
Hey, John, push the button.
Oh, Lord, it's that damn time.
I just noticed something today.
What?
You can turn off the comment section.
Yeah.
You double click on it and it'll go away.
Yeah, and everything. You can kill.
Sucker punch.
Yeah,
Perfectly.
you can turn off all of them. Private chat, everything.
And it'll center
The
all your
screen.
pictures in the center here, but you can't see any of the comments or anything.
Well, talking about airline experiences, how many of y'all have been on an emergency landing?
Nope.
Yeah. Can't say that I have.
I got to take a flight before I have an emergency landing.
Last time I was on 285.
Just that one plane. Well, I can say
No,
that
I
I've
mean
been-
like a medical emergency landing.
I've had two. Well, that airplane that had to go back to Heathrow was sort of, and then the all-terrain airlines flight was sort of. So
I was on a wide body when an elderly lady sitting in front of me a couple rows. I think she had a heart attack, but I'm not sure. We were already approaching the Atlanta airport. And basically, damn,
You
that
got
was
the
the
express lane.
Yeah, we got in the express lane, and that was the steepest approach
Mm-hmm.
I have ever experienced. I mean, I thought that pilot was going to stand the airplane on its nose. We came in. I mean, there was
probably
no
had to.
certain.
he probably had to get
Yeah.
under all the
Yeah.
other aircraft real
Yeah.
quick. So.
And if
Yeah.
you'd have probably looked out the window, you'd probably seen them doing this.
That's quite likely, but it was at night, so I
Mm.
couldn't. I wouldn't have been able to tell. But it was, yeah, that was really interesting because I literally had to brace myself and push back, not to slide out of my seat. It was
Wow.
that steep. So, yeah, that was really interesting.
Roller coaster.
Yeah, and it was there was absolutely no circling or anything like that. It was line up and come straight in. And we
Yeah.
were already mostly lined up just from the direction we were coming.
Yeah.
So it was just like you know.
Now you know how the shuttle guys feel.
Yeah, except we didn't have plasma forming around the fuselage.
How do you know?
You were
because
flying.
because I was having to push back instead of
Stranded on your seat harness.
yeah.
I've been to 6 airports.
All right.
I've been to Reagan National, of course, Hartsfield, O'Hare, Kansas City International, DFW, and McCarran International in Las Vegas.
And we hit that number. It's time to say goodnight, everybody.
Good
Good
night,
night, everybody.
Good night.
Adios.
Tune in to the next Last Man Standing. Everybody have fun.
For more
I have slept the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, when never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God.
I'm sorry, sweetie. Honey Badger doesn't give a shit.